That's Thing.
Is he like your pet?
When viewers see Thing, they experience a mix of confusion and curiosity about how he became a part of the Addams family. More than half of the time, people want to know whose hand Thing belonged to, but the truth is, Thing was never a part of the complete man. Thing's origin is based on Charles Addams' New Yorker cartoon, and his full name is Thing T. Thing, with T standing for Thing. However, Thing is just a character that happened to live by chance. In the cartoon, "Beware of Thing" is boldly written on a sign in the Addams family mansion, and the first time a male character would see the tag, he was pretty shocked and confused because he couldn't figure out what Thing was, and for there to be a beware sign, it suggested that Thing would be very dangerous or a tricky being. But at the time, the cartoon's creator Charles didn't even know what Thing was or what it should be. So you see, the creator was just as shocked as the mailman who saw the sign when asked what Thing is. This question wouldn't have been asked if Thing remained part of the New Yorker cartoon, but Charles had plans of making it into a television series. And of course, getting to know Thing was necessary because the sign would only make viewers curious. Because for you to beware of Thing, you have the right to know what type of creature Thing is. But Charles had his answers ready when he made Thing up to be a disembodied head that rolls around the Addams family house doing its job. He drew this head repeatedly as a recurring character that should feature in the cartoon. That sounded weird because everyone would freak out seeing a head roll around and talking and doing things a complete human would do. So a better choice was worked on when the TV show's producer David Levy said, "Well, we can't use a disembodied head, not in a television series, but maybe we could have a hand, but you wouldn't know where it came from. You wouldn't know if it was attached to a body, you wouldn't call it the Thing, but let's call it Thing. Just Thing. It wouldn't be Thing Addams." And then his team decided to make Thing a hand. However, the television series producers didn't know how to describe Thing as a hand best until there was an inspiration by Charles in the New Yorker cartoon. The cartoon shows the Addams family relaxing while two hands came out of the record players to change what was playing. And that was how Thing was inspired. And also, that was the beginning of many fun things this particular character experienced. Thing might look like the only one of his type, but he's not. Just the way Thing exists, other hands live too with their own separate identity in the first TV show about the Addams family. In one of the episodes of the Addams family, Princess Millicent von Schlepp arrives at the Addams family mansion for a visit, and she brought her special hand servant from a box, and this hand was very much feminine. Carolyn Jones played the female hand, and character's name was Ladyfingers, and Thing immediately fell in love seeing Ladyfingers emerge from Princess Millicent's box.
Ladyfingers! Where are you? I need you up here at once.
Oh, he missed his chance.
Don't worry, he'll have others. He's handy that way.
It's not often that someone finds someone like them, so you can't blame Thing for falling in love with Ladyfingers at first sight. But unfortunately, Ladyfingers didn't stay much longer in the service of Princess Millicent after her first encounter with Thing. However, another hand got replaced with Ladyfingers, and her name is Esmeralda. Unlike Thing's girlfriend, who was pretty, Esmeralda was instead an unappealing hand with claws. Apart from the fact that Esmeralda was plain, she was also older and wore jewelry on her hand. In another episode, Thing appeared to be missing, so a picture of Thing's parents was revealed. Thing's mum and dad in the frame were male and female hands holding hands, which shows that Thing is a generational part of the Addams family with parents and even grandparents. Thing's appearance over the years has shown tremendous growth from then to now in Wednesday Addams. In the 1960s TV show, Thing did things from a box, and it's a full hand, unlike the severed hand that we see these days. Like the producer, Levy said the reason Thing was put in a box was to make viewers curious and imagine where the rest of his body is and what exactly it looks like. Thing in the 60s was played by Ted Cassidy, who was doubled as Lurch, the butler who served the Addams family. There were cases where Lurch and Thing had to make appearances together, so a crew member would have to fill in for the role until Ted was free to take over again. Aside from coming out of a box, Thing also does pop out from behind flower pots, curtains, or any other place that would cover his imaginary body parts. When Ted played Thing, there was much inconvenience that playing his part caused the actor, and also the crew members of the Addams family set due to his height. He was 6'9" tall. It was a funny sight behind the scenes because Ted had to lie in moving trolleys where the cameras couldn't see him and then would go ahead to insert his hand from under the box. Thing is a right hand, but sometimes Ted used a left hand just for the fun of it and to see if anyone was paying attention to it. Thing kept emerging from plates and boxes in the Addams Family franchise in the late 70s until an advancement had made fans see his completeness, which is the severed hand in the 1991 movie. The hand got separated from the wrist with the help of special effects that became available at the time. And Thing could move around like a spider. The former producers who kept Thing in the box weren't happy with the character evolution. The 60s Addams Family scriptwriter Sean Jacobs said, "We did Thing, and they did that wrong in that picture. They showed the hand out there. That was not the idea of our gag. The gag was, what is at the end of that hand? What is connected to the hand? That made no sense to see Thing all by itself." Jacobs doesn't fancy it when viewers start wondering what happened to Thing to have become severed. Instead, he wanted to preserve the first version that makes people curious about what Thing is. But the 1991 movie producer Scott Rudlin defended their reason for updating Thing to a severed hand when he said they couldn't get away with the Thing always being in the box. And he also jokingly added that the 1991 version of Thing shows his liberation from prison. For the 1991 movie to have come out well, they had to do a unique casting for Thing. And they didn't just go for an actor. Instead, they went for a magician. And the magician was Christopher Hart. In the past, Thing has always shown hand skills by trying to reply to questions and do many tasks for the Addams family. But then Christopher's Thing was one of the first to show emotions through his hands. Christopher learned to make Thing look happy, sad, excited, nervous, and angry by watching animated Disney cartoons, and then made Thing a personality where it was easy for people to differentiate between Thing and other hands. Thing now became special and could hardly be imitated. And Christopher believes his version gave Thing that character development many fans have now grown to love. Thing remained as a severed hand even in the Addams Family Values made in 1993, but in this case Thing has grown some energetic skills and could perform excellently on a skateboard better than most people. However, in 1998, the new Addams Family series, Thing was returned to the box, and that was just for an episode in the whole series. In the rest of the show, Thing, portrayed by Stephen Fox, is said to be living in a closet that has become his own house within the Addams Family mansion. In two other 1998 versions of Thing, he was still shown as a severed hand who could stay on people's shoulders and even wore a hat on his severed part. In the 2019 evolution of Thing, the character wore a watch with an eye on it. This eye was helpful because Thing could see with it and show emotions through it. His skills here extend to driving a car, and even he hit Lurch, who just escaped from a mental hospital on one of those occasions because Thing was distracted from his driving. This version shows how the Addams Family recruited Lurch to be their butler. The Addams Family 2 in 2021 only showed a little advancement to Thing's character because he was fetching lotions and performing other minor tasks. Still, his communications were limited compared to the other versions of Thing. Interestingly, the 2022 version of Thing in Wednesday Addams has brought additional awareness to this character because of its excellent emotional skills. Thing in 2022 has scars and stitches to show that the hand has gone through life and has witnessed many dangerous things. One of the scary things Thing encounters is shown when he gets hit with a knife, and Wednesday thinks that she's lost him. Tim Burton made the casting of Thing to be similar to the 1991 movie by making use of a magician, Victor Dorobantu. And just like it was done at the time, Victor was told to show emotions through his hand that best explained Thing's unique state of mind. Thing served Wednesday just like he has served many members of the Addams family in the past. But yeah, he wasn't always a severed hand, and his character growth is inspiring. So, what do you think about how Thing has grown over the years? As always, share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.